What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of The Boys Back Home. Yes, sir. Got a lot to talk about this episode, a lot of follow-up stuff. But we'll start with some newer stuff right out of the gate here. Somewhat surprising, not 100% surprising to me, but the Boston Bruins have parted ways with their 14-year captain, if I remember correctly, maybe 16 years, Zdeno Chara. After 14 years with the team, he signed a 1-year deal worth $795,000 with the Washington Capitals.
That's not a lot of money.
Huh?
So that is not a lot of money.
No, it is not. That is not a lot of
Holy
money.
shit,
But
less than a mil?
not that weird for hockey, honestly. There's a lot of guys on these contracts. For someone like Chara, I guess it's at this point in his career, it's also not that odd. But a lot of people were like upset with this. More like I saw a lot of people on Twitter that were like saying it was disrespectful and all, and it's like, man, I don't know.
I mean,
I know that you're not so much a hockey guy, but like the dynamic is, the league's changing. Sorry for this background noise. The league's changing, and it's too fast now. Chara's too slow. He can't keep up with this league anymore. We had him on the team basically as just as a locker room guy, kind of to teach the young guys. And I think his time in this league is gone. It is coming to an end. I think the move to Washington is not weird, but like I don't really know where he's gonna fit because they have an older team, but they have a good defensive core already. That I don't really know where they're gonna work him in. Honestly, he's probably gonna get third shift minutes. But they might work him in with some of the young guys that they did here. It might be just a 1-year thing, a locker room guy. They lost Lundqvist. He's out for the year. He was also on a 1-year deal, and he's a huge locker room guy too. He's been to the Cup Finals and stuff like that. So you're bringing in experience, I guess, and you can't really find that everywhere. No, that's not always on the market.
So it's a more of a veteran thing rather than a fit type thing. Like he's
yeah, I think it's more of like a veteran locker room guy, someone
Okay.
to guide the youngsters and like something like that. More so than we're signing you because we think you can
Put us over the edge.
perform better than anyone here. Like,
Gotcha.
he's not the guy getting them over the edge for sure. No,
Gotcha.
but I think
Okay.
he could definitely service any team in this league to a degree. He's a good leader. I mean, he's probably the toughest guy in the league. He's rarely ever not. He was hurt a couple times, but he's definitely the scariest guy in the league.
Overall,
I mean,
type of like an Iron Man type guy.
yeah, it's just a guy that's respected on the ice. He's respected off the ice. Exactly. He's an Iron Man. He's not someone you fuck with. He's a great captain.
Mm-hmm.
He's not afraid to. He'll go with anybody at any time if he has to. Like he'll go with young guys. He's did it. I'm pretty sure he fought a rookie this year. Like it doesn't matter who it is. Like he's game. He's a great captain. He's the epitome of a captain. That is exactly what you want. Your captain is everything Zdeno Chara was. So we gotta thank him for his service here. I mean, he brought us a cup. It sucks to see him go, but I think it's the right move. I think it's time for him to either retire after this year or continue off somewhere else. I mean, the dude's like 43 and he's 6'9" playing hockey. Like it's not really something that like it shouldn't have worked this long even. It should not have even worked this long, but I mean, he made it work. So, I guess we'll stay with the hockey stuff real quick. I'll get all these hockey things out of the way. The NHL just they agreed this year to the divisions. So those 4 divisions we went over, the North, South, East, and West. They agreed to sponsorship deals with them now.
Mm-hmm.
So the divisions actually have like names now, like
Honda Discover,
Mutual something, or
Mutual Bank.
I should have these pulled up or whatever.
But I saw this too, and I feel, and a lot of people were talking about it like crazily, like as if it was like the biggest thing in the world. And I was like, this is shit you would literally never even notice. Like if they had just done this and not said a word about it, I guarantee 50% of the people who watch hockey wouldn't even notice.
Right. Plus, it's only getting the league more money, so I don't understand why people are upset. I can see if it goes. They already said that it's probably going to be a 1-year thing too. It's just to make up for the COVID losses.
Yeah.
They're losing 90 to 75% of revenue in teams because of there's no fans and stuff like that. So I don't understand why people are so upset about this. I could see if it goes past this year, it's kind of cheesy because you do want like a. All right, sorry folks, we had some technical difficulties here. Still working things out with the setup and everything, but what I was saying was I was saying that people, I don't understand why they're so upset about this year, the sponsors on the divisions. For the NHL, I don't understand why you'd be upset about more money coming into the league, because they've made it kind of clear that it's going to be more than likely just a 1 year thing.
Yeah.
And I was saying, so we have the divisions here. It's the Honda West Division, the Scotiabank North Division, the Discover Card Central Division, and then the Mass Mutual East Division. So it's a tiny little thing. I don't like. I guess their announcers are going to have to say that every once in a while, but how often is this even going to get brought up?
Well,
Like, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
and I understand. I do understand the. I understand if you're like, I don't want this to be a forever thing, because you do want your league to have a little like integrity of its own. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that you want it to seem. I don't know what the wording is, but I don't want to feel like the NHL is depending on sponsors to keep going. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the very least, it has its own divisions that are like, you know what I'm saying? So I can see how it is a little cheesy if you're going to keep doing this over and over. And you do seem like sellouts, and you want some integrity to the league and like its own individuality, I guess. Like, it can hold itself up, but like, I mean, for 1 year, like.
So what I was comparing it to was like the NBA putting sponsorships on their jerseys. It's like that's worse, borderline worse than what they're doing here in the NHL, because you think about it, if you're in the East, what is it, the East Honda or something? The East Honda division?
The Mass Mutual East Honda.
Yeah, so
the Mass Mutual East Division.
Yeah, so the Mass Mutual East Division, whatever. Like, sure, like you said, he says that, the announcer says that once a game at the most, like if at all. Whereas you look in the NBA and you can see the whatever, I forget what the sponsorship is for the Celtics, but like you see like the Bumble on the Clippers jersey every single game.
Whatever.
Yeah, so it's like, would you prefer that? Would you rather the sponsorship on the jersey, or would you just rather some in the background thing that doesn't even get brought up at all? Because personally,
it's funny
I think
you actually said that.
I personally think that this solution that the NHL did is a lot better for viewership than it would be than like the sponsorships on the jerseys, which honestly I don't mind either way. Like, I don't care about the sponsorships on the jerseys. I feel like like you do what you got to do to get money. I don't, like I said, I don't really care, but I can understand why somebody would care.
Yeah, it's actually funny you said that and you brought that up, because this is the first year too that the NHL is incorporating ads into the apparel. So, but they're doing it on the helmets, I think.
Okay.
So it's a small thing. Like, I don't think even every team is doing them that I know of. I know the Oilers, the Flames, the Panthers, and the Red Wings, I think. Mm-hmm. I think the Canadians, Penguins, Predators, Blue Jackets, something like that. So they have logos on their helmets, but it's like, who gives a fuck, dude? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I understand that, like, there was a certain pageantry to like your team and what you want it to look like and all that stuff, but it's not like they don't get to pick their. It's not a huge deal. Like, look at the Celtics jerseys. It's not. If you don't notice it, you don't even notice it.
You pick your sponsorship as well, so it's not like they're gonna, like, it's not. I mean, like, you look at a team like the Bucks who have like Harley Davidson, and it's just a bright orange patch that stands out and doesn't look good. But it's not like the Bucks are forced to do that, you know. So it's like,
I don't even think that looks terrible. Like, some of them don't even look bad though. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of them kind of blend well.
At this point, I mean, you don't even really notice them anymore.
Right.
And like I said, I couldn't even name the Celtics one, and I watched like every Celtics game of the year. So it's like, clearly they're not that impactful. So that's why I thought it got blown out of proportion pretty quickly.
I agree. I think it did too.
It's super insignificant in the grand scheme of things.
Right, and it's more money for a league that by far has the least amount of money in all the 4 major sports in America. So it's growing every year in popularity and like revenue and stuff, but it definitely has the least amount of money. I mean, look at, is there anyone in the NBA on a fucking, like, how many guys in the NBA are under $1 million like getting paid? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think a minimum contract in the NBA is like 870 or 880K or something like that.
Right, minimum contract in the NHL, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I think it's somewhere around 600,000, something like that. Like,
okay, yeah,
it's low. It's super low. Like, you can be super, super low and like still play for a year. But it's, I mean, guys want to play, so they play.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's like, more revenue is never bad. So I don't understand it, but
that means more revenue, more higher contracts, more people get paid, everything like that. So
there's a side note too. Actually, I want to add in that wasn't in the notes. This doesn't have as much to do with this, but the Winter Classic obviously didn't get played this year. It usually gets played every year on January 1st on New Year's Day. If you guys don't know what that is, it's the NHL Winter Classic. It's an outdoor game that they play in a baseball stadium or a football stadium, and they pack it up, and then it's awesome. It's a wicked fun time, and it's an outdoor game, which is cool. So they're doing 2 this year on Lake Tahoe, which is pretty fucking sick. I have barely looked into this. I don't really know much about it. I know the Bruins are playing Philadelphia. I'm not even sure if this is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I highly doubt it's actually on the lake. I'm sure they're gonna do something like
next to it.
To what they did. So they did like Barstool did a pond hockey tournament at Lake Winnipesaukee last winter, but Lake Winnipesaukee didn't even fully freeze, so they just did it like in the area of Winnipesaukee, but they really had like offshore, like
because I was gonna say,
like, you know what I'm saying?
All it takes is one guy to get chucked onto the glass or onto the ice, and it just goes right through.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so I doubt it's actually on the lake. I'm not even sure if this is 100% confirmed yet. I know that this is like pretty much confirmed. I'll see if I can pull anything up right here real quick, but it's let's see, NHL coming to Lake Tahoe in February. So I think it's the area, not the actual lake, but I mean that'd be fucking sick too. Like, yeah, it'll still look cool playing in the trees and stuff like that, like in the mountains, really, not actually like in a stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even know if they'll have fans. They probably won't even have fans, so they can really explore more options with it. Or maybe they will since it's outdoors. I have no idea, but that's pretty cool. I thought. I mean.
Yeah, that's cool to see. Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a hockey fan, but I'll definitely tune into that just because of the.
Right.
Just, I mean, it just sounds cool.
Right. And then the last thing, NHL wise, we're gonna touch on is Matt Barzal is holding out for a contract.
I was gonna ask what that is because I'm not.
Matt Barzal is one of the best centers in the league. He's on the New York Islanders. He's definitely the best player on the team. Absolutely lit it up in the playoffs. Recently. I had a couple of stats pulled up on him, and I fucking deleted them by mistake. So I'm an idiot for that. But I know I think his rookie, and I put that in quotation marks, his second year in the league, he only played 2 games in his rookie season, but his second year in the league, he had like ridiculous stats. I think he had 85 points in 82 games or something like that, and a shit ton of goals. Which isn't super standout for like superstars in the league. A lot of guys can like some guys the really really good players will average around 90, but I mean for a kid who was essentially in his first year, he had 85 points in 82 games, 22 goals, 63 assists with a 1 plus minus. So I mean he played super well. 22 power play goals or 5 power play goals, excuse me, and only 30 penalty minutes, so disciplined. But he's definitely the best player on that team for sure, no doubt.
Which team is this?
The New York Islanders.
Okay.
He's one of the best players in the entire league, but he's on a 3-year deal, if I remember correctly, about 4 years. He's getting like 1.3 annually. He should be getting, I think, around like 3 to 5. If I was him, I'd hold out for that. I feel like he's gonna go and say that he should get like an 8-8 or something like that, which I don't think he's that good. Like, I think he's extremely talented. He's definitely got the skills to pay the bills, but I mean, I don't know if he's worth anything more than 5, maybe 6 right now. I'm also not sure what the cap situation's like in New York, what they can afford, what they cannot. But if I was them, you got to do everything you can to keep this kid, because you're starting to get a team together that's playing really well and making deep playoff runs and stuff like that, and he's going to be the core of all that. He's super skilled. He can do whatever he wants with the puck. He can shoot. He can score. He can pass. He's just a facilitator while he's also a sniper. Like he's the real deal. The kid's the real deal. He's the star of that franchise. So if I'm the Islanders, I'm paying him. I wouldn't go past 6, but somewhere in 3 to 5 is absolutely reasonable. He's only getting 1 right now, and that's completely underpaid for his skill. So
gotcha. So he's just not playing at all right now.
I don't really know what I think they're in UTAs right now or whatever. Like they're just in the camps.
Okay.
They're just starting out and stuff like that, and he hasn't shown up apparently. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean we saw this the other year with William Nylander, and he ended up getting paid what he wanted to. But
so it's likely.
I think he's gonna get paid. It's just a matter of who's gonna pay him. I don't know who it's gonna be. I would think the Islanders would pay him if they can. Like I said, don't know the cap situation there, but if you can give him 5 for 5, something like that, like I mean, that's something I would do. But if I'm Barzal, the way I'm playing, I would sign for 4 years, $4 million, 4 years, $5 million annually, and then renegotiate in 4 years, because I mean, I guess you can renegotiate your contract wherever you want to get an extension, but I would sign a 4-year deal, something like that. See how long you want to stick around, unless they're going to give you an $8 million deal for unless they're giving you an $8 million a year for 8 years.
Yeah.
I would sign for 4.
Jesus Christ, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that'd be a ton of money. But
that 8 years, $1 million each year.
No, 8 and 8 would be $8 million.
That's ridiculous.
8 year for 8 years. Right, but that's like what Pasternak's
so.
getting. That's what Leon Draisaitl's getting. These are superstars of franchise. These are the guys for these teams. Like,
which you said this guy isn't, right? Not quite.
No, he is. He is. But he's just in terms of his position to what guys getting paid. Like Crosby's getting $10 million a year. He's not as good as Crosby. Granted, nobody is. I think Crosby's the best player that's ever played. But Anze Kopitar, I don't even know if he's as good as Kopitar. He's nah. I shouldn't say that. He's definitely as good as Kopitar. And Kopitar's getting 10. Like it's. Okay. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope for a kid who's super young. He's 23 years old. He's absolutely lighting it up, and he's completely proven his worth so far.
Gotcha.
But I'm not sure if you want to invest. It would be a big risk to give him $7 million or something like that. Like so I don't know. People are talking about him getting like a 1-year $7 million deal or something like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna suggest that. Maybe they just give him like a what would be in NBA terms like a qualifying offer where you just sign him.
Right. Exactly. Right, so if I'm him, I'm signing a short-term deal for as much money as I can, because this Islanders team, it's good, but I don't know where they're going, and he's super talented. You don't want to get bogged down like John Tavares did, and then waste your whole career at a team that's good enough to make the playoffs, but not necessarily good enough to win the cup.
Gotcha.
So, if I had to predict, if they have the space, I would say he signs like a 4-year deal, $20 million, something like that, but. I hope he gets paid. I mean, he's going to get paid. It's just a matter of who.
Oh, okay. There's no like restrictions on free agents in the NHL, I'm assuming.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm not. I when it comes to contracts and shit, I'm retarded. Okay. I have no idea.
I wonder. I can look into that.
There's got to be certain restrictions. Yeah, I'm sure.
You can hop into the next topic. I'll look into that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're gonna go right to this January UFC preview. So UFC has got some great fights coming up. Great fights coming up. We just got blessed with like 9 months of fights every single weekend. Now we get this month off. I'm gonna see if I can pull up the full cards here, but right while I'm pulling up these full cards, I'll announce them. So on the 16th, we have Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. That is a phenomenal fight. That's a great fight at the 145 division. I'm super excited for this fight. Calvin Kattar has been on an absolute tear. The kid's a local kid. Trains out of Methuen. And he's looking to make a real name for himself here. I mean, that's a super deep division too. Number one Max Holloway is the number one contender, and excuse me, I'm completely drawing a blank. Oh, and Calvin Kattar is like 6th, I think. And I'm trying to think of his last few fights. He's on a little tear here, and he's doing good. He's fighting extremely well. He's fighting gutsy performances. And I think if he beats Max Holloway, he's in a serious talk for the title, for a title shot. If not, he's getting a title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. We'll see. I think he deserves it regardless. I'd love to see him fight Chan Sung Jung or Zabit again. I know they had him scheduled versus Zabit. Zabit pulled out again, if I remember correctly. But that division is stacked. It's getting deep. And I think Calvin Kattar is a dark horse. I think he's been a dark horse for the better part of a year and a half. That should be a great fight. I'm just gonna do the main events now. It's gonna take too much time to dive into
real quick
every fight on every single every fight on every card. But
real quick, Barzal, he is a restricted free agent next year, or this year, I should say. Sorry. So
okay,
I'm guessing that means whatever in the NBA at least. That means whatever team offers him whatever they want, the Islanders get a chance to match.
Yep.
And otherwise, they'll probably just. If I were to guess, for a guy like the way you're describing him, they're probably going to give him a qualifying offer, because a guy like this and others in like NHL, I mean in NBA, like I'll just keep comparing to that because that's like what I know.
Right.
But a guy that you were just describing like this, whose value is unknown, if he doesn't get an offer, I would imagine they would go with the qualifying offer. And just give them for one.
Yeah.
So basically, they would just sign him for 1 more year for like X amount of money, and then he would become an unrestricted free agent the next season. That's what I would assume, but it kind of just depends on what the other teams decide to do. But anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah. I know. I actually agree with that. I think he's probably gonna get a 1-year deal. I think more than likely he's gonna get a 1-year deal for like $8 million. I mean, or $7 million, 6.5, something like that. And then they'll see they'll go from there. maybe sign an extension or some shit like that, then give him a 6-6 or 8-8 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Anyways.
yeah. Yeah, so back to this. I think Calvin Kattar, he's ranked 6. He's fighting Max Holloway, who's number 1. Holloway and Ortega fought before. Max Holloway beat Ortega. Zabit and Kattar fought before. Zabit is 3rd, but he fought Calvin. He ended up beating Calvin, but Calvin was whooping his ass towards the end of the fight. That was a 3-round fight as well. If that had gone 5 rounds, the unanimous, the general consensus, I should say, is that Calvin probably would have won that fight if it was 5 rounds. He was really putting the pressure on. Chan Sung Jung, Korean Zombie, just fought Ortega. He lost to Ortega. Yair Rodriguez, I believe he was scheduled to fight Calvin Kattar. I don't remember if they fought already. I'm blanking. But that'd be a great fight too. I mean, this top 6 is phenomenal. Josh Emmett's great too. Jeremy Stevens, you can't, like, all these guys are great. Shane Burgos, Dan Ige. Burgos fought Calvin Kattar, UFC 220, and that was a great fight. Or, no, did he fight Calvin Kattar? I think he did. Yeah, he did. And I'm pretty sure, if I remember, let me look at Shane Burgos' record real quick. I think he's like 13-1. 13-2, and one of those losses is to Calvin. So, the kid's no joke. Calvin's no joke. He's a dark horse. I think he's going to get a title shot within this year. And I mean, he's going to give Volkanovski a run for his money. I think, personally, Volkanovski lost his last fight to Holloway. I think Holloway should be the champ right now. And it should be Calvin fighting for the title. But we'll see. Max Holloway, the number 1 contender, and Calvin Kattar fighting essentially for the number 1 contender spot. I believe Brian Ortega, maybe we'll do, if Kattar wins, they'll do Ortega versus Kattar for the number 1 contender spot or something like that. But I think Kattar's earned his title shot, so we'll see how that goes. Then the second fight of the month, the second card, Michael Chiesa versus Neil Magny. That's a great fight. I'm super excited for that fight. Neil Magny's the shit, so is Michael Chiesa. Both exciting fighters. Michael Chiesa coming off his win against who the fuck did he fight? Diego Sanchez, I think. I think Diego Sanchez was his last fight, and he whooped the shit out of him. Granted, Diego Sanchez is old and washed up. I don't remember Neil Magny's last fight, honestly, if I'm being completely honest. But Neil Magny's always exciting, so that's a great fight too. And then, of course, the banger, the one we've been waiting for a while now, Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier 2. That is on January 23rd. Fucking Christ, that is a good fight. I mean, that's the fight to make right now in the lightweight division. I think the rumblings right now are that it's gonna be for the title. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if another fight though that would make sense really for the title, because you have Justin Gaethje, who just lost to Khabib for the title. You have Charles Oliveira, who just beat Tony Ferguson. Ferguson losing to Oliveira. Dan Hooker coming off his win. Dan Hooker coming off a loss to Poirier. Poirier coming off it's the whole division is all crazy. So I think if this fight is for the title, I think McGregor wins this fight. I think he's gonna win this fight regardless, McGregor. But Dustin, Dustin looks good. Dustin, this is not the same Dustin that fought Conor the first time, but it's also not the same Conor that fought Dustin the first time. John Kavanagh, Conor's coach, has been just like, he can't say enough good things about Conor right now. He said this is the best he's ever looked. Conor looks laser focused in all these videos and tweets and all this stuff. I mean, his fight against Cerrone, granted Cerrone is on the tail end of his career and wasn't going to give Conor much of a shot, but I mean, he looked good in that fight. It was a different weight class, but still he looked good. He looked conditioned. He looked ready to go, confident. We saw like a new humble side of Conor, which was great. And I'm curious if we'll see the same thing again against Dustin. I think he has a newfound respect for these opponents that he's fighting. He's established himself as such a good fighter. He's made his money and stuff like that. He says he's in it for the love of fighting now, so I'm curious the approach he's going to take to this. I don't know when the press conferences and stuff are. It's got to be coming up. I don't even know if they're doing them because of COVID, but I mean, that's a great fight. That is such a good fight, and that's a great card if I can remember correctly. I'm going to pull that card up actually real quick right now. But Conor versus Dustin, I think Conor comes out with that win. I don't see him losing right now, just based off what Kavanagh has been saying, based off the Cerrone fight. Granted, Dustin looked awesome in his last fight as well, which I believe was against Dan Hooker, and that was fight of the year. If I'm remembering correctly, I think that was Dustin's last fight. I think it was, and that was a fight of the year contender for sure. So Dustin's game, Connor's game. I mean, these guys both want to win. What doesn't get talked about enough with Connor, I don't think, is his chin. Connor can take a punch just as good as anybody else. So you want to talk about Dustin Poirier, who stopped people like Justin Gaethje, who seems like a zombie, someone who just can't knock out. He stops Justin Gaethje. He stopped. I think he stopped Eddie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see this card real quick. UFC 257. Yeah, I don't know if you have any questions or anything, Matt. But
no, I mean, I don't really know much about UFC. I don't really watch it that much, but
right.
I would more be able to give feedback after this stuff happens.
Yeah.
Rather than talk about the prior, just because I don't really know much about any of these guys besides McGregor, and even him, I don't really know much about. So
I've heard
of Poirier. How do you say it?
Dustin Poirier. Yep.
Yeah, I've heard of him before too, but.
So we have Dustin Poirier versus Conor McGregor at the main event. Then we have Dan Hooker. I totally forgot about this. Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler's first fight in the UFC, coming over from Bellator. I'm super excited to see how Chandler looks. Dan Hooker is a fucking man. I mean, Bellator? Bellator is basically like, it's just another fight promotion. Okay. So it's like the UFC, but it's kind of like guys who either leave the UFC, aren't good enough to make the UFC.
So it's just like a G League type shit.
I think it's higher skilled than the G League. It's just like it's just people who can't really cut it in the UFC or can't come to a contract agreement with the UFC, stuff like that. Like, okay. So it's not necessarily they're not bad fighters in Bellator. They're not as good, most of them, as the guys in the UFC. But there's a couple good guys, like this guy Michael Chandler, who's an absolute monster over there.
Okay.
And he's coming over, and this is his first fight. He's older. I think he's like 38, but he looks like he's 22. Dan Hooker is the man. I love Dan Hooker. I love what he's been doing the last few fights. He's
funny ass name.
Yeah, he's a cocky little Australian, and he's game too. He's as scrappy as they get. Jessica Eye versus Joanne Calderwood. That's a great fight too. And Khalil Roundtree versus Marcin Prachnio, I think that's how you say it. Prachnio. Khalil Roundtree, he's a beast too. Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas. That should be a good fight. Brad Tavares versus Antonio Carlos Jr. I don't know who that is. Shane Burgos is fighting Hakeem how the fuck Dawadu, I think that's how you say it. Or Dawadu. I forget how to say it, but Shane Burgos, I mean, he's super exciting too. Like 13-2, he could go, if he goes to 14-2, he's a serious contender in that division. So the company's as good as it gets right now. I mean, this is by far the best UFC's ever been. I think it really peaked in 2018, 2019. Or 2019, actually, believe it or not, 2019, 2020 is probably the best it's ever been, gotcha. As far as depth and competition goes. But we're super spoiled as UFC fans. If you are, for this month of January, these should be some great cards. And I'll maybe go more in depth on the actual individual cards as the weeks come up for them. But
yeah,
for now, that's what we got.
I'll definitely be more ready once I actually see this stuff go out, because, like I said, I don't really watch UFC that much, but
right
now that I have something to focus on, I'll be able to pay attention to it a little more here. We can hop into the basketball though if you're all set.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the UFC. So we can. The first thing we have here is the first women's head coach in the NBA. So
yeah, that was awesome.
I think a lot of people probably already heard about this, but in case you live under a rock, Popovich gets ejected. This is about, I want to say this is a couple days ago. I don't know how many days ago, but a couple days ago, Popovich gets ejected mid-game, and Becky Hammond steps in, and she coaches for the rest of the game, which technically made her the first women's head coach in the NBA.
Yep.
What people don't, I mean, people are going to do this regardless just because she's like a woman, but she actually is a good head coach or not head coach, but a good like a good
assistant coach, right?
Yeah, she's assistant coach, her and Tim Duncan right now.
Oh, okay, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so she's actually a good coach. I don't know what the exact quote was. I don't know word for word, but basically Pop had a quote saying like people were like, oh, like people were basically like surprised that like the game went the way it did because she's never been a coach before or whatever, but he kind of just put that all to bed and was saying like we hired her because she's a good coach, not because we wanted to make history, which was pretty clear when she stepped in. That team's looking actually pretty good, and she's been a big part of it since I think she was the assistant coach last year as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. I was gonna say I don't think this is his first year in the league.
Yeah, and so
first year.
What's interesting is that obviously Popovich is getting older and he's going to retire soon. So what people were assuming is that when he hired Tim Duncan, he was going to become the head coach when he retires. Like, that's probably why he hired him. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Becky became the actual head coach once he retires.
Okay.
So that could be pretty sick to see.
Yeah, that's dope.
She'll be like actually the first head coach,
right? Full time.
Yeah, it says in the NBA. I wonder if she's the first head coach in all major league sports, like female head coach. I've been trying to think of it, but
there's a female assistant coach on the 49ers.
Yeah, but she's never been the head coach, I assume.
No, she's definitely never been the head coach. I know.
I'd be interested to look into that.
Yeah,
but anyways,
that's a good question.
Yeah, so first female head coach in the NBA technically, but
yep,
would love to see her become the head coach. Just for the history one, but also just I'm curious to see how legit she is as a coach. She seems pretty legit. I mean, anybody who comes from the Spurs coaching tree is going to be a legit coach. We've seen.
I mean, yeah. Absolutely, she has the building blocks. Like, all the parts are there to get for her to be successul. If you're gonna if you got to pick a team to become a great coach from.
Yeah, there's this graphic. I wish I had thought to pull it up beforehand, but maybe I can find it here. But the Greg Popovich coaching tree in the NBA is just ridiculous. He has
from people who have coached under him, or?
Yeah, and how he basically has a coach on it seems like every team in the NBA that's been underneath him.
Okay.
So I can read some off here. So Brett Brown.
So he's the Shaq teammate of coaches or whatever.
Yeah. So he's got Brett Brown. So that's obviously Sixer. That was the Sixers coach. Budenholzer, Bucks coach. James Borrego. Yep. I believe he was Charlotte's coach. He might still be. Yeah, he is. Okay. Jim Boylan used to coach the Bulls. Mike D'Antoni coached the Rockets, of course, now on the Nets.
Yep.
Let's see. Taylor Jenkins. He's the Grizzlies coach. Alvin Gentry, coach of the Pistons, Clippers, Suns, Pelicans, everywhere. Quinn Snyder, coach of the Jazz. Mike Brown, Jacques Vaughn, Earl Watson. These people.
These guys all coached underneath Popovich?
The list goes on, but it's ridiculous. How many people have coached with him? Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, Monty Williams, Avery Johnson, Vinny Del Negro. All these people have had a connection to Popovich.
That's been how long's Pop been coaching? 20 plus years, obviously, but
yeah, I don't know the exact.
30?
It might be more than that, honestly. As a head coach, probably around there, but he might have been assistant before that. So yeah, these guys. So Steve Kerr, Doc Rivers, Monty Williams, Avery Johnson, and Vinny Del Negro all played under Pop. Is that what this says?
That's absurd. That was
yeah.
Whoa, hold on a minute. Oh, he's 70. So he's 71.
Yeah, so he's coming up on retirement pretty soon.
Popovich moved in 1992 to the staff of the NBA Golden State Warriors before returning to San Antonio in 94 as an executive vice president of basketball operations.
Okay.
He took over the Spurs head coach after the first 18 games of the 1996-1997 season.
Yeah.
So I was born in 98 and I'm 22, so 23 years he's been doing it just about.
Which is crazy to think about. The dominance that he's had. This article was written a year ago, so I'm trying to think of if there's anybody else, but nonetheless, ridiculous.
Yeah, that's absurd.
So it seems like he has a hand in at least half the teams in the league at some point.
Right.
So just shows the complete dominance, which is and then when he retires, Becky Hammond's gonna probably be the head coach, or Tim Duncan, which are both coaches underneath him too. So
right.
Yeah. But anyways, we can move on to the Curry news. Everybody knows the Curry slander that we saw. And then just the Curry slander silence.
I think he might have listened.
Deadass.
He must have listened.
Deadass. So Curry looked like shit for the first couple games, and Curry is back. 62-point game the other night.
Bananas.
Just ridiculous efficiency. Since he I don't remember the exact numbers, but since those two bad games, he's averaging 31 points on 51, 41, 97% from the free throw line. That's just that's just insane numbers. I think there's 8 people in the entire NBA history that have ever shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 90% from free throw line. And I think there's literally 8 players, and Steve Nash is 2 of them. So
wait, what? Wait, hold on. Say that again.
50% from the field.
Yeah, 50%. Okay.
40% from 3, 90%
for the career.
No, in the season.
Oh, okay.
And 90% from the free throw line. So the 50-40-90 club is what it's called.
50-40-90 club?
Yeah. Okay. And I'm pretty sure Steve Nash accounts for 2 of those.
Okay.
So, and I'm pretty sure Curry accounts for one other one. So now to average 50, 40, 90 and 30 points per game is like absolutely insane, especially with the team that he's on.
Is he the best scorer of all time as well?
No, I'd say KD is probably, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But he's probably up there though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's insane. I mean, you could see the impact that Draymond Green had. I was saying on a couple, maybe it might have been the last episode, how I thought that when Draymond Green came back, he might actually make a pretty good impact, even though he's not a great scorer. He
drops 1 point, right?
He's just an offensive player all around that's like works for that team and gets that offense moving. And I mean, when he came back, this is when Curry has a career high. So,
right, yeah,
he's a good piece, I think. There, I still wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors missed the playoffs, but I think they've won 4 of their last 5, so they're doing pretty well.
It's still early.
It is still early. They could easily take it up a notch and make the playoffs, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. But at this point in time, I still don't see them as a playoff team just because of how stacked the West is. But I mean, we'll have to see. I really don't want to bet against Steph Curry just because Steph fucking Curry. But
tough to do.
Yeah. We can go into the Celtics here though. So I wanted to ask the question is if you think, I mean, maybe you don't have a great amount of information on it, but Tatum, Brown, Kemba, championship level team. What are your thoughts?
I've actually watched a couple games this year, and just going off what I've seen and like more what I've seen, the eye test and also the numbers and shit. I mean, I think that this talent level and this chemistry of the top 3 right there, combined with Brad's coaching, I mean, I think that's a contender. Bottom line, even if they're not all playing at the top of their game, it's. I think Tatum's becoming a better leader at 100%. A younger age, and then as is Jaylen Brown, even though they're I think a year apart, if that.
Yeah, a year.
So
well, I mean, I don't know their ages, but draft wise, they're a year apart, or NBA experience wise, they're a year apart.
I believe they're a year apart age wise. I think I'm not totally sure, but and then Kemba's the veteran guy who can keep it all together. So yeah, I mean, I don't see why not.
I think they're as legit as anybody else.
Yeah. And we seem to have some depth too on the bench.
Yeah,
I mean, Pritchard's been playing really well. And
crazy, smart. I mean, so going into yesterday's game, I guess we could just talk about that a little bit. So going into yesterday's game, we didn't have Kemba, we didn't have Teague, we didn't have Smart, and that's 3 point guards right there, all 3 ball handlers. So in my mind, I was like, we could win this because the Raptors are playing like shit recently, but I wouldn't be surprised if we lost or got blown out.
To what?
Say it again?
One more time? Wait, who's blowing us out?
I thought the Raptors would have last night.
Oh, I see. Okay,
I didn't think so.
I actually didn't remember that game either. But.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because the Raptors are.
Right.
I mean, they won the championship 2 years ago. They've been.
Is
legit.
Nick Nurse still the coach there? He is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like the Toronto bounce back game where they come back and they're like, all right, let's just smoke this team where they have nobody to play, whatever. And then Peyton Pritchard dropped like 24 points. Seemed like he couldn't miss a shot.
Yeah, he was cooking the other night.
I mean, he played great. Grant Williams played great. I was a little scared at the end there, when they started to come back a little bit, but Tatum put it away again. So
this also speaks to Brad though, because Brad is taking these guys who were the guys in college too. Like, like Peyton Pritchard was the dude on Oregon. He was the number 1 guy, 100%. And then so was Grant Williams, is the guy on Tennessee, if I remember, Texas, one of those two.
Tennessee.
And it's like, so now you're taking all these air quotes egos and you're putting them all together and making them play well. I mean, these guys are coming off the bench and they're used to being the number 1 player. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, and I mean,
I think 1 year removed. So
yeah, and I think that goes with the personalities. Like I mean, obviously Grant was drafted because of his college. Like he was drafted where he was drafted for a reason, and I think that Brad going into the draft, or whoever drafted him, whatever, just knows like the type of personality that he had. And then I think they knew that he would be willing to sacrifice.
You establish a culture too,
exactly,
with your team.
And I think we saw that. I mean, I hate to talk about Kyrie. I feel like
so you know what you're getting
every
into
episode, but I feel like they see like this is Jason Tatum's team, and you see a guy like Kyrie who wouldn't accept that. So it's like,
right.
I think drafting guys who are already who they know are going to be like, all right, this is clearly Jason Tatum's team. I'm just here to be a piece, like whatever.
Yep.
And I think they had, I mean, their development this
It's
year
all
has
about
been great.
it's about what do you want out of your career? You know what I'm saying? You want to be the guy. You want to win rings. Like,
exactly. And I think Grant and Pritchard. I think they know their role. What I like about Pritchard is that he's willing to take shots. Like he was taking some shots that I was like weird. I was like looking at it like, I mean, you're a rookie. Like what are you doing taking that shot? But they were going in, and I think he knows his role while also showing like, all right, I can also score. Like I don't have to just be Jason Tatum's sidekick.
And he may have been getting told that. I mean, they might have been like, hey kid, go out there and keep shooting. Like we know you can shoot, so just put up a couple, like whatever.
And they definitely told
you to stop. You know what I'm saying?
They definitely said that shit to Aaron Nesmith because that boy shoots the ball when he touches it. Like the second he catches that ball, he just shoots it. And it sucks because he hasn't really been playing very well, but I think he'll get into it. He's a
pick and pop or whatever.
Yeah, he was supposedly the best shooter in the draft this year. I mean, we've yet
to
see
he shoots like a ridiculous. He shot like 30-something% from three or something like that, or like
he shot like
40
or
something.
Or you're talking about
college? His last year of college, I'm pretty sure he was like lights out from three.
Yeah,
like,
it must have been at high 40s.
Like something ridiculous. I know he like didn't miss from the corner. Like that was like the big thing they talked about. They're like, this kid does not miss from the corner. Like, which I guess most players like play well from the corner, but
yeah. Let's see here. I pulled up his averages here. So last year, 3-point percentage, 52% from three on 8 attempts, which is absolutely absurd.
That's bananas.
So he's supposed to be the best shooter in the draft. And I mean, we've yet to see it. But I mean, it's fine. I mean, he's a rookie, so he'll get there, I think. He's a guy that reminds me of, or he's a guy that I hope could be someone like a Duncan Robinson for the Heat, where he can just kind of be moving around, coming off screens, shooting the ball, and he, like I said, he shoots the ball. He's not afraid to shoot the ball. So it's just more about knocking them down at this point. So it just look great. Like he's shooting 22% from three this season so far, which is. I mean, he doesn't attempt a lot of shots, obviously, because they're not running the offense through him as they were at Vanderbilt. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I want to see that come up because he was definitely our higher pick for a reason. So he should be,
exactly, yeah. It's not like they saw nothing in him, like
yeah, exactly. And I mean, let's see.
And we have the chance to fix him if something is wrong too. It's like you have great coaching, so it's not like. And good depth, so it's you don't have to. We're not riding on Naismith's fucking
exactly.
So that's to the promised land. So.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not really worried about it. I want to see him play better, and I want to see him start knocking down some shots. But at this point in time, I mean, he's only shot 9 threes this season, so it's not like he's only played 3 games, so it's not like he's like doing terribly. But I definitely want to see something out of him where. He will. I just want to see him shoot better. That's all.
Right.
I'm glad his confidence is where it's at. I'm glad he's willing to shoot the ball already.
Yeah, I think it's
gonna start falling eventually. But
like I said, it's a good culture too that we've built around him. That it's like you don't have to be successful right out of the gate. Like obviously you want to be.
Yeah.
But it's like this is a team. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's like if you're not playing well, they're not gonna cast you out. Like it's gonna be Brad's gonna send you over here and hey, mixing. Work on this, do this and that, and you'll be back. Like you'll be back before you even know it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it's
and I think we've been spoiled with Tatum and Brown and and even Pritchard this year. Just like the rookies immediately coming in and making impact. But I mean,
you got guys you can lean on. You got you got guys you can lean on. Or if you're not playing, you're not excelling. There's depth, and someone can pick up the slack where you're dropping it. Like you know what I'm saying? It's that's the most important part. I think that's a super underrated part of. A team sport and a team even like the market for a team, you know what I'm saying? Like the Boston market, like where it's the fucking restaurant and then there's also exactly so it's you come to the city and there's a culture around the city and around the sports of the city where it's like you're gonna get chewed up if you're an asshole and like if people don't like you, people don't like you. But like people are gonna have your back. I mean, look what we're doing with Pritchard. Like everybody loves Pritchard and he's 100%. Fucking Taco, we just like him because he was tall. Like it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have it, yeah. Like you're gonna have a shot.
Yep.
So yeah, that kid Naismith, I honestly haven't noticed him because I don't really know who to look for. And
and like I said, he's only played 3 games. He really hasn't done like, let's see how many. He's only played 39 minutes this whole season. So
right, so you don't even have that big of a shot to fuck up yet. So
yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. I'd much rather him shoot and miss right now than. Like, him shooting and missing isn't hurting the team. It's only going to get
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly.
I mean, we won by 20 yesterday, almost.
We're not ride or die on you.
He missed a couple shots. So, yeah, exactly. Like, we can only go up from his production. So
right.
Yeah, so I feel like once he picks it up, he'll be a good piece. Great spacing for the team.
I wrote this down. Yeah. I want to see your take on it. Do you think Tatum was being a bit of a diva at the end of the game there, freaking out in the huddle when it was like a 12-point game with 40 seconds left?
Not at all. So the
only reason I thought that was because I looked at the score and I was like, "There's 40 seconds left and it's a 12-point game."
Like, Okay, yeah. So I can understand your perspective on this, but the thing is, there's no. So I think we were up by. We were up by like a lot of points when Tatum got subbed out in the fourth quarter, and they almost blew the game. And Tatum had to come back in and save the game.
Okay.
So, in my eyes, he's completely right. I would be fucking pissed off too if I was him after dropping I don't remember how many points we were up by, but we'll just say we're up by like 15, right? I don't remember how much it was, but and then he comes out of the game, and then we're down, we're up by 5 when he comes out 2 minutes later. It's like, obviously he's gonna be pissed because he's put in all that work to put us up by 15 just for the bench.
Right, he's kind of like, I just fucking cleaned up this mess. You guys can't keep it clean for fucking 5 minutes.
I think this is what he needs because I think that's what this team needs is accountability because we've seen in the past this team not be held accountable, and then at the end of the game, like I said, we bring up Kyrie every single episode.
Well, but that's the most recent.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's a very uncommon thing in Boston. Like, it's not
exactly. So it's like
situation like that.
We saw things like him where Tatum would take a bad shot or something, or they would miss a defensive assignment or something. And Kyrie, instead of saying something about it, he just sulks, and then at the end of the game, he goes to the press conference and says, "Fucking ask me later" or whatever. So it's like, I'd much rather him just go now and hold these guys accountable.
I don't mind that approach too. I don't mind there's nothing wrong, I don't think, actually, with yelling at your teammates and kind of like being like putting a light in the fire under their ass. They're all young guys, it's guys that want to win. It's not like there's a lot of egos on this team. It's so I have no problem with that, actually, because I remember to relate it to hockey, there was a couple years ago when Tuukka Rask was playing in Providence, and he's playing in a shootout. They scored 2 questionable goals in a shootout that probably shouldn't have counted, and he fucking loses his mind, and he's throwing shit on the ice. He's smashing his stick off the glass, and it's like in a game that doesn't matter, but it's not a playoff game. It's not Game 7 of the fucking. So it's you like that because it shows that like he gives a fuck.
Cares about
he cares about every single game.
Well, that's the
or
thing.
Guys fighting in practice. That happens sometimes in hockey a lot, and like that seems like the thing where like. You'd be like,
team morale.
Shit, like, are you fucking kidding me? But it's actually almost always the opposite. It's almost always the opposite, where it's like guys are duking it out in practice because they want it so bad, and almost always you see that happen. And you see, it happened with the St. Louis Blues, and like the game after that, they started going on this tear that ended up going and winning a Stanley Cup. Like, against the Bruins where they weren't supposed to. So it's there's nothing wrong with yelling at your teammates. I just thought the situation was weird, but granted, I actually didn't watch the whole game because I was like, dude, it's a 12-point game. There's 40 seconds left. Why are you freaking out? Like the game's.
Yeah. So I don't know what he said obviously, but it was probably something along the lines of like, I just put us up by 15. Now we're down. Now we're only up by, or like I just put us up by 15. You guys put us down by, or you guys only you let them come back. So now we're within 5. Now we're within a 2-score game. Now I have to come back into the game, take off my warm-up, come back into the game, and bring us back up to where we need to be. So I think it was more of just like a thing where it's like we can't take our foot off the gas because we saw what happened. Anytime that this team specifically, like the Celtics roster that we have now, and the one that we had last year, like specifically this team has blown so many leads in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Like last season, so it's like, I think he's more just motivating them, like, guys, we can't play like we played last year when we were blowing all these leads in the fourth quarter because that shit is not going to work. And
right.
I mean, rightfully so. I mean, when he started yelling, all the guys were engaged on the bench. Like,
they didn't
see in the background, like Carson Edwards, Neesmith, and a couple other guys weren't really paying attention. And then he started yelling, and they all tuned in. So I mean, I don't think it's the worst approach. I don't think it's harmful like people think it is. Like, I think it's just him saying I'm the team, like him kind of asserting himself, like I'm the team leader. I just put us up at 15. Why can't you guys just keep us within? You know what I mean? Just save the lead. All you gotta do is
right. Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think
hustle.
there's anything wrong with even being upset about that either.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I would probably say the same shit.
Yeah, and I think these guys can take it too. I don't think this is like a bunch of soft.
Yeah, I was gonna say they didn't seem upset. They
There's no
just
egos
like,
from what I've noticed.
right.
So I think we're in a good spot. I think that approach with Tatum needed to be done because I think the last couple seasons he's just been very complacent. And like we blow a lead and he'd be like, "Oh, my bad, like it's on me." But in reality, it's not. So I think he just kind of wants other people to take accountability. And I think doing that now at the beginning of the season is much better than doing it towards the end of the season. And to add on to that, all these guys are here and none of them can go anywhere. It's not like he's yelling at Kyrie, who's going to be a free agent. It's not like he's yelling at. He's the best player on the team by far. And I mean, even if you want to debate Kemba, sure, but he's injured, so he wasn't talking to him, obviously. So it's like all these guys are rookies and sophomores and
this is the
players.
team. Like it's like, hey boys, we're in this. So yeah, exactly. I mean, this can go bad or this can go good real quick. Like.
And I think everybody on the team knows that they're playing through Tatum, and that's just how it's going to go.
Yeah.
And, I mean, or play through Tatum and Brown, I should say, because I mean, I don't want to discredit Jaylen Brown's amazing start to the season. So
yeah.
I think they know that they need to play through Tatum, and I think he's more just like, can you guys just have my back, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the approach. I mean, hopefully it doesn't have to happen again, but it's good to make guys take accountability.
Right.
All right, you can hop to the next topic though.
Yeah, well, I'll go through this quick because we've been running for a while, so we'll see. I want to talk about the the college football playoff, the championship coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Alabama kick the shit out of. Well, they beat Notre Dame. I suppose they didn't really kick the shit out of them, but they confidently won. I think they kind of let them hang around a little bit, which I don't think Saban was excited about. I don't remember the final score. I think it was within 21 points though, which is like odd. I took Notre Dame plus 26, and I don't know if they covered actually, so it might have been 28. But then we had OSU. So Bama didn't look terrible, but they didn't look as good as they could.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Ohio State versus Clemson. Clemson, the heavy favorite. Ohio State ends up winning 49-28. Justin Fields put his fucking dick on the table, absolutely laid out there. He got cracked in the second quarter. Looked like he might have broke ribs. Like he was in serious pain. He took a helmet, like a spear, directly to the ribs. Ended up being a targeting call. The guy ended up getting thrown out. Personally, I think it was targeting, but it's not to the letter of the law. It was. I don't think the kid should have been thrown out. It's just like a stupid rule. Right call, bad rule. But so he gets hurt, comes out for one play, comes back in, throws a touchdown right away. Ends the game with a 78% completion rating, 385 yards and 6 touchdowns. So I mean, he just balled out. The defense looked great too. This defense has been a concern all year, but they looked fantastic. So I'm super excited for the game. That game's Monday. And I think, I mean, OSU's got a shot. Bama's obviously the favorite, but I think Ohio State can. It's about. It's going to be offense versus offense, I think, because Mac Jones in the receiving core, Najee Harris on Alabama. I mean, these guys are just like Najee Harris is running back, but that offense is dirty. They're nasty. Our defense played super well against Clemson though, so I don't think that was something I was expecting. If that defense can show up again against Bama, I think we can hold them. Make it a close game at least, and just keep it on the offense. I don't think Bama's defense is better than Ohio State's. My magic number has been 5. I think we need to get 5 stops in this game. 5 stops, keep them from scoring 5 times, and we can win the game. So we'll see.
Stops and keep them from scoring 5 times is 2 different things.
Well, that's what I mean by 5 stops. Like just keep.
Oh no, okay, you're right.
I'm not talking field goals. I'm talking no points. If we can keep them from scoring on 5 drives, I think that's the magic number to win the game. So we'll see. But I'm riding with Ohio State, obviously. So we'll go right into the next topic.
We'll come
NFL.
back to that one next week when the actual game.
We'll recap. So the NFL playoff predictions.
So these I wrote down all the matchups here. These are confirmed. Everything is set in stone at this point.
Is this the spread? Or is this these are the spreads? Okay. So we got Saints versus Bears. Saints favored at 8.5. How do you want to do this? You want to go right down the line and just react to each one, or?
I mean, I wrote those down because I feel like you could probably give some insight onto like
Yeah, the Saints 8.5. That seems about right. The Bears.
You could just go through them and I'll just chime in whenever.
Yeah. Okay. So the Bears are just squeaking in here.
Yeah, the Bears probably should have made it, but
they're not 500, right? Are they?
I
Are they about 500? Or were they 9-7? Maybe.
Maybe.
They might have been actually. Yeah, but Saints and Bears 8-8. Okay, so they're 8-8. So they are 500. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Drew Brees has consistently been a problem in the playoffs. The Saints,
one thing about the Bears is their offense is just terrible. I mean, that's
Mitch Trubisky's a fucking moron. He just
their offense is just
stupid
bad overall.
football player.
So
he's a stupid football player. He doesn't know how to play football smart.
They got in because of their defense, and I mean their defense could do something, but I don't see it against the Saints. I mean the Saints are just a powerhouse at this point, especially if Drew Brees is playing.
If you can get to Drew Brees, though, I mean, early on in the game,
yeah, they do
still be banged up. So I refuse to believe that he is fully recovered from this rib injury.
They just have too many playmakers. That's all. That's the only thing that I don't like. The Saints
I don't know
if
Michael Thomas
guys
even
who can make a play.
I'm not sure Michael Thomas is even in the NFL anymore. I feel like he hasn't played in fucking weeks. Maybe I'm wrong, or hasn't been an impact in a couple of weeks, but
he's definitely playing. I don't know if he's. I mean,
he's
hard to
definitely in the league, but
it's hard to grade the Saints because of like what's gone down this season, where we haven't seen Brees in weeks, and it's like they're what's his Taysom Hill, like he's just kind of been shitty, so it's like it's hard. I don't know.
Drew Brees just doesn't show up. It seems in the playoffs anymore. Like, I might be totally talking on my ass here, but I know that he's not the best decision maker in crunch time. I don't think he ever really has been. I think they caught lightning in the bottle that year that they won the Super Bowl. So
yeah, I think this is a different team though than what he's had in the past. Yeah, so okay. I think even if he's not on his A game, exactly.
Kamara's fucking gonna, like I said, he'll have to carry.
Yeah, they. I mean, he will carry.
Right.
Literally. Yeah. So I think Thomas was out for the last couple of weeks, but
yeah.
But I mean, is he gonna be healthy? I assume he'll be healthy still. I mean, I assume he'll be healthy going into this. Let's see if we can look it up right here. Okay,
yeah, I like that Saints.
They might be available.
I like Saints 8.5 there. I mean,
yeah,
I maybe buy that down to 6.5 or 7, but
Kamara,
I like
Michael Thomas. Kamara, the Saints are optimistic that they'll both be back for.
Okay.
The game. Oh, but I forgot about the whole COVID thing. Hold on.
What do you mean?
They all have a chance to be active, but as of right now, they're not. Like Kamara and Murray are both inactive at the moment.
With COVID?
Yeah, if they have to be asymptomatic.
Whoa.
Coming to the game. So I mean,
wait, to be asymptomatic ahead of the game?
So and it will be
and negative, or
so after they test positive, they have to wait the full 10 days.
So they can't play then, right? Or depends on
okay, let me read it.
Okay.
The Saints running backs must remain asymptomatic. Okay, and be cleared in order to play. Okay. So I guess they're gonna get tested before the game. I'm guessing. I don't know.
That's bizarre, but okay.
So if they, I mean, if Kamara's not playing, that's a scary game. But
I mean, they're not gonna. But it's the Bears, so like they might get lucky there. But
like I said, the Bears have no offense. But we should keep it moving.
Yeah. So we'll go to the Seahawks Rams now. Seahawks are favorited at 4.5. Yeah, I don't mind that one either.
I don't like the Rams.
I don't like the Rams.
I trust Russell Wilson.
4.5 though seems. I feel like they could cover that, but.
I mean, I trust Russell Wilson.
It's playoff Wilson, so yeah. I they're still my favorites for the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, he's a guy who can make something out of nothing a lot of the time. So.
Yep. All right. So then we get the Washington Colonizers versus versus the Bucks. Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, minus 7.5. I like that bet. I'll take that one to cover.
My Super Bowl pick, so I'm picking him too.
Okay. Trey Young was saying he wants fucking what's it called? He wants Chase Young. I'm sorry, not Trey Young. Chase Young wants Tom Brady. He was saying it after the game. So. Yeah, but I was like, this one might be. I'm actually like a little nervous for this one for Tom Brady. I mean, Chase Young is a fucking monster.
So the thing about this game is that if Brady loses, he'll never hear the end of it. But if he wins, it'll be like, oh no shit, it's the Washington football team.
I don't know,
even though it's not. Even though it's not just the like. It's
no, but
like,
I think this is a special season for Brady because he's at a new team, first year. He's old as fuck. It's getting it done in the playoffs. I think if he gets it done in the playoffs, he's even
more solidified.
More solidified, yeah.
Well, I more meant people. I mean, including me for a while, like have just kind of brushed off this Washington team just because it's the Redskins and they've been bad for so long, or excuse me, the football team.
Right.
So
just
it's like
attached to that.
Yeah, but I mean, this team's way more legit than it's been in the past. Yeah. Granted, they're still what 6-9 or whatever, 6-10 to end the year. So
who's that?
Isn't that Washington's
7-9
in the year?
7-9, I believe.
7-9, yeah. So it's like at the end of the day, the Bucs should have this one, but
yeah. All right, so I like the Bucs on that one, and I like them to cover 7.5.
Yep.
Bills versus Colts. Fucking love the Bills.
This
Buffalo
is gonna be a good game, I think.
-6.5. Hammer that. Game. I think hammer that. I mean, they are on a fucking roll right now.
Yeah, they are.
That offense is cooking. They've been cooking the last few weeks. Bucs, Bills -6.5.
I mean, I'm still picking the Bills too, obviously, because they're definitely the heavy favorites. But I wouldn't put this. I wouldn't just be so quick to push over this Colts team. But,
no, I agree.
Because I think they've been playing really well recently too, and I think people don't really recognize it because I don't know. Maybe they're just because they're a small market team, and I don't know. I honestly don't know, but they've been playing a lot better recently than they did too.
They're a quiet, good team.
Exactly. So I think this Colts team could be a little dangerous, but I still think the Bills by a lot.
I still think the Bills too. I think this offense is too good, so I think I'm riding with the Bills -6.5. That's a lock. Steelers Browns. Pittsburgh -3.5. This game's getting dicey because
I still hate Pittsburgh.
Stefanski's not coaching. Stefanski's out.
Yeah. Their whole coaching core is like out from my
the whole and then two significant players apparently are out too. So
yeah, I don't know who they are, but
they haven't said who they are. But okay. I mean, if it's Baker or Myles Garrett or something like that, I don't know what you can say. It's got to be.
No way.
It has to be starting wide receiver, tight end, or running back. It's got to be
Baker. Oh my god.
If it's Baker, it's over. The season's over. But
100%. They haven't announced it at all.
No, because you can't. It's under the NFL. The most recent collective bargaining agreement, you can't. This might have been around for a while actually. You can't disclose players' name without their consent or something like that.
Okay, it's definitely not Baker.
No,
it says Stefanski and at least two players, one of them being a Pro Bowler. I don't think Baker's a Pro Bowler, so I would assume that.
Myles Garrett then maybe.
I was gonna say it could be Garrett, because wasn't he dealing with COVID?
Again, he just had COVID.
Yeah, so maybe he's still negative.
Maybe he's still okay, maybe. I don't know, but that's an interesting little wrench to throw in there. I don't know. I actually don't know if I like the Steelers in this game. Honest to God, I really don't. I think they barely. Right, what does it say?
Stefanski test. This might be. Oh wait, this is super recent. Okay, so maybe this just came out. It says today. This is when this article was written. Stefanski tested positive along with Pro Bowl left guard Joe Bitonio. Joe Bitonio.
Joe Bitonio. No way. Are you serious?
Defensive backs coach, tight ends coach as well.
Bitonio, because Bitonio is the longest tenured Brown on the team, and this is his first time making the playoffs. So
yeah,
that really
he'll be back if they win. So
right, if they win though, I mean, that would suck so
honestly,
bad.
I might take the Browns in this one.
I kind of like the Browns in this game too.
At all.
I don't either. I don't trust them, and I think they barely beat the fucking Colts in the last week of this. Or the they lost to the Browns. Granted, Ben wasn't playing and stuff like that, and there was a little controversy towards the end, but whatever. I
still don't even care. I mean,
I
honestly,
still think this is just direct rematch. It's a home and home, basically. So
yeah, so I would say
I don't hate the Browns on this. I honestly think I'm taking the Browns. I don't trust the Steelers team.
I don't either.
That Browns defense is good. It's so yeah, I like the Browns. Honestly,
I feel like there's something about Big Ben that just doesn't do it for me. I don't know. He's never been a guy that I've trusted, but maybe I'm just
he's
biased,
game, but like I don't know if he can get it done.
I don't know. And also that receiving core in the Pittsburgh Steelers is a bunch of frauds as of right now. So
Claypool's good, but
yeah, Claypool. That's about it. Juju's a fucking fraud. So
yeah, I like this Browns team's rolling right now. So
yeah. Okay, next one.
Right, and then we're going down to the last one, which is Titans versus Ravens. Baltimore is favored at -4.5.
This one's kind of.
I don't know if I like that either. I think I like the Titans to cover that because the Titans are a good team.
I feel like every week there's a Derrick Henry highlight clip. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if I like that -4.5 at all.
Yeah.
That should be a good game.
I might take the Ravens anyways.
I think I like the Titans in this.
I think I'll take the Ravens just because I want to see Lamar do something.
Yeah, okay.
I like watching him play. He's an exciting.
Yeah, that Titans
quarterback,
defense
so.
is not that great, but I do like. I mean, their offense is cooking and their offense is confident. So,
like I said, you see a highlight reel every single week. So,
but
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Before you hop into the next topic, let me just pull up the fruit of the week real quick.
Oh yeah, fruit of the week. Let's get to it.
The elder.
But let me see. Of those games, I like Seahawks -4.5. I would take that. Buccaneers -7.5, and then the Bills -6.5 for sure. Yeah. Bills -6.5. That's a lock for sure. Lock it.
Yeah, so the fruit of the week, the elderberries. They're high in vitamin C, the source of vitamin B6, source of iron,
elderberries?
Source of potassium, high in fiber, and fat-free.
Hold on, say that again.
The elderberries.
Elderberries.
Yep.
Okay. They're high in vitamin C, you said? That's a good thing.
They're used in wine recipes.
Oh, yeah, look at this. They look like blueberries or something.
They're firm berries with a deep color. Anyways,
all right,
yeah,
cool.
Okay,
elderberry fruit of the week.
There it is.
Now I'm gonna just to touch on the stand-up stuff. I'm gonna do like a weekly stand-up special of the week for anyone who's interested. Maybe if I don't do a special, I'll do a comedian or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna start off right out of the gate with a banger. My favorite stand-up special of all time. Personally, I think the greatest stand-up special of all time. Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. It's about an hour and a half, hour 20. It is fucking hilarious. For those of you who don't know who Patrice O'Neal is, go out there and look up his videos, look up stories about him. I mean, he's one of the funniest people that's ever lived. I think I think Chappelle's still my favorite, the best comedian of all time, but I mean, Patrice is up there. He's unbelievable. Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. You can buy it on YouTube, I think. Elephant in the Room, yep. You can buy it on YouTube,
Patrice
I'm pretty sure.
Bergeron.
No, not it.
Oh, okay. And your bet of the week. I mean, we said that Bills Colts.
Yeah, the bet of the week was those three. I guess if you want to do my bet of the lock, the lock is Bucks. Buffalo -6.5.
Yeah.
But yeah, Patrice O'Neal, Elephant in the Room. Go check that out. That is my personally, I think that's the best stand-up special of all time. I can watch it every day and laugh just as hard every time. So
there you go.
All right, boys. That wraps for episode 5, right? So we'll see you next week with NFL reactions as well as college football reactions.
Potentially look for a Sunday segment about the college football game. Is it on Saturday?
It is on Monday.
Okay, it's on Monday, so never mind. But
we can get into it more because I have more I can get into.
Okay, cool.
All right,
so look for a little pregame. Peace.